All right, everybody, and welcome to the 380th edition of the 9 Years podcast. I am Nick Draper, joined as always by the face of the BBC Sport website, Mr. Stuart Deacons. Stu, I don't know what's going on. We keep winning. Where does this end? Something bad must be happening. Sooner or later, you're going to have all the signs of the apocalypse, dogs and cats living together, the whole shebang. What is happening? We're fourth in the league. Are we actually dreaming at this point?
It's a real nightmare when your podcast is accused sometimes of being a very happy clappy, and you've got to be even happy clap. You've got to be even happier and clappier than what you normally are. Just need something to moan about. I can't think of anything to moan about at the moment, apart from it being windy. That's not good.
No, I can. Stu, you're talking to Mona in chief. I will find plenty of things to moan about. Do not worry. But events on the pitch at the moment are not one of those. So yes, I will have a moan about something in a minute. We'll do good thing, bad thing. We will review the win at home park, the 2-1 win at Plymouth Argyle last week. I'm having problems pronouncing words on the podcast all of a sudden of late. Have you noticed that? We will look around the third tier. As always, Richard Osman Foyo's House of Games returns, and then we shall preview the visit of Burton Albion on Saturday. Let's begin, though. Let's be happy clappy, Stu, because why not? When you're fourth in the table, when you're pretty much safe from relegation already, no, I'm not tempting any football gods. 25 points from, 13 games now, halfway to 50. I think we're pretty okay, let's be honest. What do we put it down to, Stu? Are we that good? Are we really going to be in the playoffs come 46 games into the season?
Well, we were having a chat before we press. I was going to say before we press the record button. We don't really press the record button. You just hover over it now, didn't I? Don't know. But we were
I don't know what you. No.
I'm thinking about recording on a cassette tape. Do you remember the days you had to press play and record? Did you ever do that on a?
Yeah. I still press the play button. I have to click my laptop, the mouse.
Can I just say, I know we were trying to think of what we can moan about, but we couldn't think of anything. I'll tell you what I did do. Last night I was watching YouTube because somehow I come across, YouTube just has this habit of going into areas you just think, where the hell am I gone with this?
You go down the rabbit hole, yeah.
Yeah, but it basically had it come up old match of days, relegation final days, final day relegations. I think it was like 2005. It was basically in between. Yeah, was it 2005 or was it earlier? But basically, it was final day. Charlton were at home Palace, and I think
2005.
Yeah,
guaranteed. Yeah.
And what made me chuckle is that you had people with mobile phones trying to check, but you still had people with the radios holding on the radios against their ear.
Beautiful.
And I was
bringing it back.
I was thinking kids nowadays would have no understanding what that meant. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking back then, probably it was early internet, so it probably wasn't even 3G, was it? It was. I don't know what it would have been on your mobile phone. But I saw someone had the old Samsung. I remember when I met my wife, she had this the Samsung flip phone, right? And the text message on the internet was in such poor condition. I was thinking, people just don't know, do they? The kids nowadays have no understanding what it used to be like. On end of season day, and then I end up watching. I went Wimbledon Huddersfield, we beat them in the FA Cup second time around, and then it led into Bolton Wimbledon in the Carling Cup quarter final up at Burton Park.
Nice.
And it's really weird, right? Because I sometimes mention when I do tours, I talk about safe standing, and I sort of obviously say about how. The surges, and I sometimes reference Bolton, saying that there was hardly anyone on that terrace, and when we scored, we surged, and then right down the bottom of the terrace. But actually, looking back at the highlights, there was actually more fans than what I thought.
Isn't that one of those things though, where they shut it really tight, so it looks like it's packed, when in fact, if they just stepped back a little bit, they would see vast spaces of empty terrace.
But you know what was interesting? The Huddersfield game, I think, was 98. Yeah, 97, 98.
No, I reckon it was before that. Do you reckon when Huddersfield, I
played
think
them twice. We done a 2-2, didn't we? And then we beat them 1-0.
Oh, we did it the first time. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
What was interesting? A couple of things that was interesting. Robbie Earl was injured in the warm up, and then had to come off, and that was the start of his injury problems, which was sad. Stuart Castledine come on for him. who else got injured? Kerry Hughes got injured. I think we used 2 subs within the first 20 minutes. I was thinking Stuart Castledean. Obviously, and Leo Castledean now is with Huddersfield. Yeah, it was just. But I looked at it, and one thing I found really funny was the difference in rules, because we VAR now not celebrating until the Lions were putting their flag up when it was wrong. Really weird how you can watch football from yesteryear and you just sit there and go, wow, so many things have changed. Quality pitch, decisions, VAR. Yeah, it's mad.
I've got so many things to talk about coming off the back of that one. First of all, we need a super fan of the podcast that needs to listen back through all 380 episodes, because I have a feeling that Bolton Cup quarter-final at Burnden Park, I reckon that might be the game we've mentioned more than any other on this podcast. It seems to come up regularly, especially with Stanley Reid almost falling down the grass bank and everything like that.
Much of that. But I didn't realise it was actually a line, because it was the highlights I saw was from Carlton Sports.
Yes, ITV used to have it, yeah.
David Seaman, along with Bob Wilson.
Amazing.
David Seaman, basically just the most, like when you know someone's not a commentator, they just say, oh, well, yeah, Wimbledon fight really hard. You don't really know. Let's be fair, right? You haven't got a clue. But I didn't realise that was their last season at Burnden Park before they moved to the Reebok.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah, because we played them again. I think we played them how many years in the Cup consecutively?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those hot balls, our balls are very hot.
Stop talking about how hot your balls were, Stu. A family show.
But yeah, I think it was one of those games that was quite pivotal at Bolton, because that season we got to 2 semi-finals, didn't we? It was a sort of the start of us doing really well, but also the start of the end as well.
Bolton, of course, the first proper visitors to Plough Lane when we returned in 2021. So a little bit of history there with them. Something else I want to mention about what you were talking about there. First of all, life back in the day, perhaps on the old mobile phones back in 2005, perhaps just looking for texts that had come through to update on score. That was probably what it was. I will go to my grave believing this, that the whole transistor radio trying to get scores and find out what was going on elsewhere, much more fun than it is now, where you can just go on your app and see, okay, that's what it is. Because the whole Man City Liverpool, when Man City were playing out a draw, thinking that would be enough because of the misinformation that they'd received, wouldn't get that these days. It all adds football to the entertainment of it. It's all part of the whole thing. VAR, you mentioned, players not celebrating. I had another, what's the word? Encounter with Premier League football on Sunday as I went round my parents for dinner, and it was Liverpool versus Manchester United.
Yes.
And I think Liverpool equalised. And on first glance, I looked up and I went, oh, he's offside. And then they showed the first replay and he was quite clearly not offside. It was and yet it was still about 2-3 minutes before they finally confirmed that there was no reason to disallow the goal.
And then another celebration.
Yeah, ridiculous.
It's like a double celebration. Nothing worse, right? Celebrating the goal 3 years later, the buzz is gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Joe, I would say that, right? And this is probably a bit controversial, but I think you should ban mobile phones in the stadium.
I will agree with that, Stu, but however, I would stop you after you said the word phones.
It's just, whenever you see and we're just as guilty at Wimbledon, right? The amount of people that record games.
I know.
You're at the football match. Joe, what, right? I can't recall the last time I took my phone out to record or take a picture during the actual game. I might have done it at half time before the game, right? But never during the game. The first thing I think is I'm not going to record it.
Sometimes I take a photo. If I'm going to a ground for the first time or whatever, I'll take a photo before kickoff and send that to whoever to say, yeah, that's it. Not during the game, and certainly not recording anything. Big no-no.
But you know what? This Bolton thing did get me back thinking. Obviously, you can tell winning games because we're trying to find things to moan about.
Yeah.
But you know what I did think? I remember going to Bolton on the coach, right? And then I was trying to think with mobile phones, what did I do on coaches before mobile phones?
You listen to the radio.
I might have had to talk to somebody.
No chance.
But you remember, I was sitting thinking, when did I first have an iPad? When did I first have a mobile phone that could give me internet? You sit there and think I sometimes wish I could go into a time warp, right, and just go back to like a coach journey and like, I don't know, the mid-90s, and just see what people would have. I probably would have spoke to somebody, some random person.
Possibly. I have memories, coach journeys, obviously, first thing, big thing, newspaper on the journey up.
That's right.
Then the radio they put the radio on. You could listen to Five Live and listen to all the build up to games. And then on the way home, you'd listen to the reports and then you'd listen to 606 and whatever like that. Once I remember going on the old official Wimbledon FC Supporters Club coaches. If you remember, I can't remember who ran them.
Yeah.
We watched videos of
We did.
Graham Norton and people like that. Genuinely, they put that on. Yeah, so random.
And this is probably for our younger listeners of like not really understanding what it was like sometimes to get back on the coach. One, you freeze your nuts off, so you're hoping that the heating was on, and then hearing Five Live and the sports report, the scores,
Yeah, out of the blue, yeah.
And then literally some of the shock results coming through because you didn't even know what the half-time score was, let alone. And it'd be sometimes that shared experience of go, whoa, there's like, it was exciting, wasn't it?
Do you know what, Stu? It's like we write this because I wanted to bring up shared experiences this week on the podcast. All right. So the thing is about that, you are exactly right. It is all in the shared experience. And the one thing, okay, big thing, we are so way off.
I know.
Do you know what?
We've won 8 on the split. We've won 8 games. Like we're unbeaten in 6. It's boring. We're going to go and talk about nostalgia now until we start losing.
Yeah, we're going to talk about something completely different now. So yeah, shared experiences. Biggest thing right now that I hear people talking about is the Traitors, and I'm still an episode behind at this point, so don't tell me anything that happened. But
you're still on episode 1.
No. I'm 1 episode behind.
I was going to say, how are you staying away from the spoilers?
No. It's just Thursdays I didn't see. Well, I haven't seen yet. So the biggest thing I'm hearing though is people saying, "Oh yeah, I love watching it. It's the one thing that we watch at home all together." And it's like that whole shared experience thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? The internet and streaming and smartphones have completely atomized all of this. And you're quite right, Stu. Get rid of them. Let's go back to how it used to be, because exactly the same with football, like you say. Do you know what the other thing about football is? Back in the day, you might have one live game a week, but everyone would watch that live game. Now, you've got so many at so many different times of the games. The shared experience of that has gone now because no one's watching the same games as each other. There's too many to choose. No one can possibly watch all of them. So you don't have that same thing. You don't have that same thing of going in the next day to work or to school or whatever, and you're all talking about that same thing because everyone's all looking at their own things or too much different options, too many different choices. I say get rid of it all, Stu. Let's go back, bring back Blockbuster Video instead of streaming, bring back one live game a week, 4 o'clock on a Sunday, bring back people watching Match of the Day. Now you've got me talking. Somebody put on the internet the other day that Match of the Day's viewing figures have gone down since Gary Lineker left. It's nothing to do with Gary Lineker leaving. It's to do with the fact that the BBC now put all their highlights that they put on Match of the Day, they put it on their website by like 8 o'clock in the evening. So no one's waiting for Match of the Day anymore. So you're just atomizing these things even further. So yes, we are losing the joy of shared experience. Thankfully, we still have podcasts, the only good thing in the modern era, because that is a shared experience for people, because you can only listen to that once.
Yeah, the thing is, you can, and like even the EFL, like you can put. I think after the Plymouth game, I think about 7 o'clock, most of the goals were available on Sky.
Exactly.
So, and it's one of those things I sometimes think: do I wait and watch them on the football review show? Because sometimes it can be nicer all together.
It's just I find that easier. Yeah.
But it really depends. But you know what? Yeah, I've actually now started going to. I probably watch one live game on the weekend, all the way through. I know that sounds silly, but without on my mobile phone, everything like that. Actually, just in. But it's why sometimes I stay behind Plough Lane after a game, because sometimes that evening kickoff, it actually can be quite exciting watching a football match around other people.
Surely you've just done that live and in person.
Well, yeah, but it's a Wimbledon team. I don't know anyone that actually really. I don't know any. Do you actually enjoy watching Wimbledon play? I know it sounds really silly, right? But can you actually say you enjoy this spectacle, or do you get caught up? Obviously, you want your team to win.
That's a tough question. That's an interesting question to answer.
I mean,
I'll be honest with you. Last season we got promoted. Can I honestly, hand on heart, say that there are any games I look back on and say, yeah, I really enjoyed that? Not really. We were abysmal to watch. I think as I've got older, I think I do tend to try and I'm slightly more dispassionate, except for when we play like you know who, at which point I'm just like, I don't care how we win this game. We just have to win this game. Everything else, I kind of just want to sit and watch and enjoy a game of football. I don't feel particularly pressured by it, if that makes sense. Whereas when I was younger, I didn't care if it was the most boring, horrendous game of football in the world ever, as long as we win.
Yeah, because we're all biased of it. The amount of times I've gone into the 1889 now after a game and someone's gone, what a great game. I've gone, was it?
It's because
Like,
we've won.
yeah. But what I would say, some of the games like Cardiff at home, great game to watch. Atmosphere from the Cardiff fans, immense. Barnsley at home,
Barnsley,
was a really good game to watch. So there have been some really, but I wouldn't say I watched it with real enjoyment because I don't want us to succeed. I want us to win. I'm that, I don't go to football just to turn up. I want to win and win a game. So what I mean by the 889 now, and you want to go in after, is really no pressure really. If Chelsea are playing, I want them to lose. There always some team want to lose, isn't it? There's very rarely, it's like when you watch international football. You normally want the French, the Germans to lose. If they're playing each other, you're a bit buggered, aren't you? So yeah,
healthy dose of xenophobia on the podcast.
Well, it's when I remember when I went to the 2012 Olympics, right? I watched it. I had a boxing, and every it was the same. I watched Anthony Joshua before I realised he was going to be any good. But it was really weird in the actual arena, which I'm trying to think where it was now. Somewhere in the Docklands XL Arena.
Yeah, it was the XL Centre. Yeah,
XL Centre. But the funny thing was, right, is that the fans, obviously, the fans there, if their country was fighting, they'd support them. If not, they would adopt a country. Until there was a French boxer against a German boxer, then it was a struggle.
And then it was played out to silence.
You can't have a draw at boxing, but you can have a draw. But yeah, that was a problem. That's when I realised, actually, Joe, you always take on someone you want to win, unless they're both people you don't want to
win. Yeah, it's like Chelsea versus Milton Keynes. And most people listening will go, well, obviously, we still want Chelsea to win that one. Do you know what?
That's a toss-up, isn't it?
My hatred for both of those is... that's the ideal. That is the ideal. I feel like at this juncture, Stu, I should mention something I was going to mention. Shout out to Ian Hidden, who listens to us every week.
He's probably switched off now.
He's gonna, if he's heard this before Burton, then yeah, he will be telling me this. Okay, so Ian posted on 9wirespodcast.org, as you all can do. You can join the conversation on 9wirespodcast.org. On the post featuring the podcast, Ian posted last week, wackiest podcast by you guys. This was last week. Can't disagree. Who knows what this week he's going to think. It's like you've been locked in a pub and everyone else has gone home. Yeah, this very much sums up the first coming up 20 minutes of this show this week. I also have to say there was also a comment on the same post by Ardley Erdman, who said, I wanted to take a moment to commend you on the outstanding quality of your blog. Your dedication to excellence is evident in every aspect of your writing. Truly impressive. Yeah, I think that's a bot.
Someone just put AI in, don't they?
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it weird now, right, AI? You sometimes don't realise if it's true or not. Even to the extent with videos. I watched Jeremy Vine for my sins, and they were talking about AI videos. It's very difficult now to know if you believe it or not, and it's so easy to especially political messages and stuff like that. So easy to get caught up and go, wow, that's unreal, but it's actually a fake.
But it is unreal. It literally is unreal. And do you know what, Stu? I almost got caught out on social media the other day with a deep fake video, if you wish, of an AFC Wimbledon game from a few years ago.
What we won?
And I was looking at, and I was going, I don't remember. I was literally looking at it, going, I don't remember this game. And then I realised it was a fake because part of the footage had Liam Trotter running, and that's how I figured it out. So yeah,
maybe this season is all AI. Maybe we just haven't won.
That was going to be my next segue, Stu, back to the issues of AFC Wimbledon and winning football matches. Yes, maybe this is an AI system. Maybe we are in a simulation. Maybe we are in the Matrix without even knowing, and that we have now gone top of the form table with 5 wins from the last 6. We are unbeaten in 6. And Plymouth, again, another come from behind victory with goals from Omar Bugle and Marcus Brown. And do you know what? It was pointed out to you in the week. Johnny Jackson said the goals were almost carbon copies of each other, and I see a few people disputing this, but they were both left wing crosses knocked in around the middle of the goal. So yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, both balls into the box. Do you know what? I missed the first. I've obviously watched it from Costa del Epsom. I missed the first 5 minutes. My sister decided she wanted to come around and see me. Who does that on a Saturday? She's known me long enough to know do not disturb me during the 3 p.m. kickoff.
Yes, but you know what? It's tricky sometimes though, because these kickoff times, as we've discussed, all over the shop.
So I missed the first 5 minutes, and I saw my phone 1-0 down. I was like, oh, but you know what? I didn't really get that. I was like, okay, we're in such good form and such a resilient side. I was like, I'm sure we can edge our way back in. And then I started watching the game from probably at 7 minutes, and we were on top. I was thinking, did they score? Was it really? Because it didn't feel like they bought through that momentum. And actually, we were winning all the seconds. Miles Hippolyte was dominating midfield. Omar was bullying. It's really weird. Like, you know, sometimes you think Omar will be better in like league, non-league, and League Two because it's sort of it's physical football. It's, you know, but actually because so much is being let go by referees nowadays, Omar is bossing and bullying people in League One as well, and he stepped up into League One for the first time in his career, and at the moment played his way into the team, and you wouldn't drop him. Though he's been very, very good.
I think centre halves at this level, or some, I don't want to paint this whole level with the same brush as it were, because I still think there are better teams that will play that will have more savvy and perhaps experienced centre halves, who will also know this league a little bit better. And there's a team I'll talk about in a bit about that. But defenders that know that they're not going to be able to, you know, play the pretty football, have it a little bit easier, ball on the deck type of football that has become the norm, they're the ones that seem to be struggling. Whereas I think, you know, Port Vale, perhaps we didn't quite get the advantage of that because they had centre halves that were quite happy to win balls in the air and be strong and have that physical battles. Whereas teams like your Plymouths and you know, your Doncasters, even maybe not Doncasters, bad example, but
I just didn't see where in their threats. Like the goal they scored was a rework goal. I know people are moaning about it was the slide rule pass, but actually the actual movement was quite decent. But after that, you couldn't really tell where their threat was coming from. I didn't really, and this is a team that got relegated from the Championship last year, who will have a very decent budget, or they have to. They spent £1 million on their forward, didn't they? I thought we bullied them. We had the better players. I thought Miles Hippolyte was outstanding.
Yeah.
His cross for Omar's goal is it's such a simple cross, but you know, he's got the ball. He's held off. He's the strength to hold off the defender who doesn't even get near him, and just puts an absolute easy ball for Omar just to nod it in. But I just thought he was outstanding. I was saying during the game, actually, I thought we worked. Miles Hippolyte and Marcus Brown just seem to work so much better together. They just seem to, as a pair, in playing them 2 10s, I feel we get so much joy from them.
Was that not how we sort of started the season? Matty Stevens was with Marcus Brown. We thought Marcus Brown sort of just behind him, but actually, you know, it was more of a, if you want, a 3-4-2-1 kind of setup that we had with Stevens, the striker, and then Brown, Hippolyte just behind him. And
exactly how we started.
A combination of suspensions and international call-ups have derailed that the last few weeks or whatever. But first time back in, and it does seem to be the way we did. I just look back, Stu, without wishing, because my record at the moment on the Arsenal Prediction League is terrible. So I'm perhaps not the best.
Draw.
But my prognostic, I actually thought we'd lose it, to be honest with you, because I thought we were due a defeat. But I did say at the start of the season, and I was asked, I remember the Luton fans asked me, they were just like, well, who are your threats? And I said, well, our quality is Hippolyte and Brown. And I know we had, around the time he got sent off at Bolton, and people were saying, you know, Marcus Brown is too selfish and too greedy and he disrupts us. I don't believe that. I still don't believe that to be true.
No,
and I think
we defended that at the time. We defended that at the time, didn't we? I know people were saying, hey, look, I said I did say at the time he's got that in him. That's that sort of unfortunate streak.
Yeah.
But he was walking into that side easily with that. I suppose the interesting thing is now is that, you know, Matty Stevens is probably out now. You're probably looking at easy December the way it's going. And all disrespect, no disrespect to Matty Stevens, who had 5 goals before his injury, but we haven't missed him. And Omar going into that Matty Stevens role, actually, that looked even more threatening because you got the Omar, the bully, the threat, and then you got the silky skills behind. But yeah, no, really exciting this team to watch.
Centre half, Ryan Johnson comes back in after international duty, and Riley Harbottle is the one that stepped out. But I didn't see the game, Stu. I am told that Patrick Bauer got a booking in the first half, and discretion being the better part of valor, he was taken off at half time just to, just to be on the safe side. And Riley Harbottle comes on and gets booked within a minute.
Yeah, I don't know if I watch Dorking Uncovered, which obviously Mark White, who's the Dorking owner, Wimbledon fan, and he has this thing, right? If a player gets booked, he brings them off. Even if it's in the first half, he just brings them off.
Right.
He just doesn't want to play with the threat of having he goes, you can't play with 10 men.
Jeez.
And it made me chuckle because it was like when he got booked and he got taken off, I must be watching Dorking Uncovered because it's just a really but very much just does that, just takes them off. No one stays on the pitch long with a yellow card against their name. I felt with Patrick Bauer, it was if in a way they felt that he would be targeted. Maybe the type of defender he is, he might make a rash challenge. But again, full credit to Patrick Bauer. We haven't missed Joe Lewis. Not saying he won't come back into the side, but I don't know about you, but I'm not sitting here thinking, is Joe Lewis back this week? I'm actually thinking, do you know what? We're okay at the moment.
Centre half position, we are inundated with. We have an embarrassment of riches in that position, but also, Stu, do you know what? As I've said all along, it's the way we play, the way we set up, the way our team shape is. We weren't great defensively because last season, we spoke about this last week with Goodman. We weren't great defensively last season purely because of the individuals in goal and the individuals in our centre half positions. It's the team shape from 1 to 11. The whole team defensively is switched on, and that's why we're such a pain in the arse to play against.
And I think that's why people felt the goal against us for Plymouth was a bit of an easy goal because we don't concede that type of goal too much.
We're not normally that high up the pitch.
No, we don't get balls slotted in between our centre halves, do we? So I think people looked at it and went, that must have been a mistake. No, do you know what? I think sometimes you have to go, decent move, on that side of it. But yeah, this isn't the same. I don't rate Joe Lewis. Normally I'd be like, get back in the side. But you're now going, well, do you know what? If he's got dodgy ribs, we can probably, if we can maybe 2 or 3 more weeks, he comes back fully fit. We haven't got to rush. We haven't got to rush him in. No. And you're right. When you got Riley Harbottle, he can't get a place.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. A couple of years ago, he walks into our team. Yeah. The good thing that Johnny Jackson has got with his team is that when they come in, they perform.
Yeah.
You don't feel there's any bad apples in the team at the moment, and there shouldn't be when you're 4th in the league. But we feel squad-wise feels like we've got a really good squad.
Well, defensively, because there are still areas where we go. Centre midfield is one of those where I'm like, that's where
Hey, look, I don't think Ali Smith had a great game again on Saturday. Probably two games in a row. We're not really going to drop him. Not that he deserves to be dropped, but we've said this before. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Deloy Splat probably, but he's still a kid. We probably just don't have the pressure on those two. And I think sometimes, nothing wrong in having competition because it does force them to, actually, I might lose my shirt if I don't perform. We don't really have that, but also the miles, the distance these two are covering in midfield. You talk about defensive shape, they are heavily part of that as well.
Yeah. And you just have to say that's one thing. Thankfully, at the minute, we're getting a week off between games for the time being, so that gives us the opportunity to recover and go again on the weekend. I do want to just caveat the fact we are 4th in the league. Do you know what? I'm going everywhere I go now. People are stopping me and they know, and they'll just be like, "Wow, when we do work, could we get up into the championship?" I'm just like, "No, let's not get carried away."
We're not ready. We're not ready.
We are, well, no, do you know what? And we will come on to Luton in a little while, and there is a little bit of a warning to be had from that, I think. But yeah, so we've won, as you say, Stu, 8 games now in the third tier. But 5 of them are against the current bottom 8. And, you know, Blackpool sacked their manager off the back of it. Plymouth, again, likely that their manager is going to disappear shortly, I would imagine. Wickham, who have already sacked their manager. Rotherham and Reading, who had a litany of injuries when we played them as well. So that's just the only thing. I don't want to get too carried away. That's why I say halfway to safety already. I still think let's just get that under our belts, because it's a long old season and we have got some big challenges still to come. The other 3 teams that we have beaten, Lincoln, fantastic result. That can happen. Barnsley, fantastic result. Not taking anything away from these. Doncaster.
When we played them, they weren't doing too bad. Unfortunately, I think we beat them, and they started a really bad run after that.
Yeah, that they are. Yeah.
But you're right. But when you look at it, Bradford lost by the odd goal. Bradford fans still say that probably we're the toughest team they played at Valley Parade. And also, to add balance, when we say that Bradford have had a great season, we're level with points on them.
We're leveling points with them, yeah.
See, sometimes, you can downplay your own performances, which is natural. Wimbledon fans and football fans who generally do that. But, obviously lost by the odd goal against Cardiff, odd goal against Bradford, beat Lincoln, got our backsides tanned against Bolton. Barnsley won, Doncaster. So, yeah, you can only beat the teams that are in front of you. However, what we are doing is we're putting teams to bed that are around the bottom. So that your 6-pointers, you shouldn't call them 6-pointers, but realistically,
they are.
Realistically, again, a win against Burton is a team that you would probably think are going to be with you down the bottom.
Yeah.
So you want to put them to bed on that side of it. So
combination of results on the weekend could put us top. But we'll come on to that maybe in a little bit.
Joe, I'm still not looking at the league table though during the game. I'm not.
Oh no.
I'm not looking at it. I did last season. Don't get me wrong. This year I'm just like, I think what I'm doing now is I'm actually adding the total in my head. So obviously we've got 25 points at the moment. Another 3 points is easy 28 points, and that's the safety point we believe is around about 48 points. So a win on Saturday puts us 20 points within that total, which that's the main thing. League One football next year, at least.
Saying all that, who was your man of the match at Plymouth?
Omar probably. Tight between Miles, but I just thought Omar would typify everything about us, bullied them. Love Omar. His interview after as well, great. Probably the best club I played for. I believe that of Omar. I think he loves it at our place. And Omar, a bit biased, but yeah.
Best club he's ever played for. Where did we sign him from?
Sutton.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And before then, he played at Worthing.
Well, there we go. I mean, no more questions, Your Honour. I'm not saying like you're the most attractive Watford fan. Which player had the...
Watford fan going, you're the best manager we've ever had.
You're the best manager we've had in the last week. Who had the worst week for you? I've got a name. Because you know what? You mentioned earlier about squad. And there's somebody I'm afraid I have to bring up their name again. And it's Danilo Orsi again. Just because he had an opportunity. He took his opportunity, got 2 goals against Blackpool. But he's lost his place again. And I just don't see how he gets it back.
Yeah, I'm struggling I think you're right. I look at it and go, where does he come in to make a difference? I don't think he starts. I agree with you. And obviously Hackford, by the way, oh my days, that kid, how fast is Hackford? Yeah, I don't know if you've seen his chance late on.
Yes.
Where his last man rolls the defender, and that defender wasn't slow, and Hackford's still getting away from him. Obviously, when you've got the football, you're a bit slower. Hackford is still, we've done so well getting him. He's very, very exciting.
Do you know, it reminds me what I was going to say. Another thing about how this season is going is the surprise about that was that he didn't score. But what it means is we maintain this quite incredible record of only scoring when we have a shot on target. I know that sounds ridiculous, but what I mean by that is that against Plymouth we had 2 shots on target, 2 goals. Against Wycombe we had 2 shots on target, 2 goals. Against Blackpool we had 3 shots on target, 2 goals, but one of the shots on target we then scored from the rebound. And Rotherham, I think, was 2 shots on target, 2 goals. Goalkeepers just don't make saves against us.
When they're hit, they stay hit.
This is my argument. Like, it's a bizarre statistic.
Yeah, I think, Joe. I also think we're very result. I don't think we don't waste opportunities. We
are clinical. That's what I mean. It's a surprise that Hackwood didn't
and we
score.
don't shoot. And we don't shoot from distance. It's still a bugbear of mine. We don't shoot from distance because I think
not really,
the amount of goals you see with deflections and shit goalkeepers,
Yeah.
we just don't shoot. We're very economical with that. So when we do. It's like when we do shoot, we're normally in a position where so it's normally a position where the XG would be high to score.
Do you know what I'm just thinking though as well? Reading away, I think they only had 2 shots on target, and there's an argument if we were to watch the second goal back with the deflection, whether his initial shot was actually going on target or not. It's just a crazy, like, clinical would be the word, I think.
But yeah, Hackford, like I say, we've done so well to get hold of him. He's one player that I don't know about you, but there's a few players that get me off my seat. Miles Hippolyte, definitely. Nathan Asimwe and Hackford. When he comes on, I just generally I can't wait to see what he's going to do. And that's a good sign.
You were saying earlier about recording games on your phone during the match and taking photos during the match and things like that. And I always go back years and years ago to Chris Jericho, he of You've Just Made the List, talking to us at the O2, and he berated somebody in the crowd who was recording it on their iPad. He was like, put it away and live in the moment. But something that similarly annoys me sitting in the West Stand is you talk about getting off your feet and players that get you up off your feet. Nothing I would have thought should get somebody off their feet more than when you have a penalty.
Yeah.
But no, in the West Stand.
Well, it's posh in there, isn't it? Especially where you are.
But I'm like, but then we score the penalty 9 times out of 10, unless we've got Al Hamadi back. We score the penalty, and then everyone gets up on their feet. It's like, why? I don't understand it.
Well, no. Well, the reason you normally get off your seat is because everyone else is off their seat.
Exactly. But if no one stands up, you don't want to be the first one, like one right near the back. And I'm tall, so I don't really want to stand up and get people.
Did that person say sit down? Did that person say sit down?
I've never done it, so I will not do that. But I expect people at the front to be standing up and everyone follows suit. I
had this at Notts County in the away game in the playoff. Someone behind me pushed. It was an old geezer. Just tapped me and said, "Oh, can you sit down?" I said, "Do you realise how long it takes me to get up?"
And you're just like, I could sit down, but then everyone else in front of me has stood up. So
I know, and it just made me chuckle. But respectfully, because he'd asked me, I did do that.
That was very kind.
Yeah, if it'd been, and fair, he asked me in a nice way. I was sitting there thinking, do you realise how much trouble once I stand up, I've always been a football fan. I've always been respectful. So if I've stood up when there's kids around me, I tend to sit down. In the good old days of terracing, I would always make sure a kid went in front of me
we always used to stand right at the back at Kings Meadows for that reason.
Yeah, so you didn't get hit in the head with the football.
So
that would be the. Still, Kings Meadows still brings back the greatest memories of people getting hit in the head with a football.
What a sentence that one is. The greatest memories of people being hit in the head with a football.
But whoever built Kings Meadow, right, had a real sense of humour. Like, who would build a terracing lower than the pitch, right? So the amount of days, remember the amount of times when someone would shoot a ball in training, it would zip along, and because you walked down the bottom of Kings Meadow Terrace with head height, it was smacking a nut. It was the most. They had a sense of humour. I loved it. Missed that.
There were some hilarious moments at Kings Meadow. Frank Sinclair getting sent off, a Woodford Town player gesturing towards the crowd and carried on running as he gets sent off. But but you know what? Man getting hit by a football had a man getting hit by a football in the groin. Can't beat that one.
And let's not forget, on Monday this week, it is 5 years since our first home game against Lincoln at Flower Lane.
Doncaster.
I say Lincoln. Why is it? Is it because they both play in red?
Red and white, possibly.
It's
Yeah,
worrying that
but
I
I
do.
still don't.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I still don't count it. I know.
it
I
was the first.
know.
It was the
But I
first
still don't
official
count
game.
it.
Yeah, it
I
was the
know. But
first.
a football state, if if a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? If a football match is played in front of no fans, does it count? I mean, I guess technically Milton Keynes do it every week, and their fixtures still get published. But it's, I still, for me, Bolton will for always be,
Yeah,
because otherwise, what will happen is I'll go on my rant about COVID and lockdown again, and no one wants me to go on about that again.
Can I say also, I don't follow a franchise on my Twitter feed, but it just tends to keep popping up. It said about, and a very good thing about prostate cancer, it encouraged people to. I'm going to have a bit of a laugh here, right? But it's not about prostate cancer, but it's basically Nick's laughing now, don't we? But basically, it said, join us and walk, do 5K and walk around Milton Keynes. I'm thinking you could also sit in every seat and give it a little bit of a warm up.
And in a strange way, with that and the talking about standing up during the game or whatever, that brings us nicely on, Stu, to a look around the third tier and takes me back to Luton Town on Saturday, where in the main stand at Luton, for anyone that's ever sat in there, you can do, but you don't sit down really because there's just not enough room. There's not enough space to actually take your seat. So everyone was stood for the duration of the 90 minutes, at least in the blocks most closest to the away fans, as it were, or the away end. It's not even an away end anymore. They share it at Luton, as we know. It's half and half. But anyway, point being, we're talking earlier about perhaps teams that need to get used to the physicality of this division and want to play nice football, and they probably aren't going to be able to. And Luton would very much fit into that category. And I think Jack Wilshere is going to have to be pragmatic in his approach if he wants Luton to succeed this season. Because at the minute, on that evidence, they are way, way off it. And despite missing a penalty, and it would have been different had they scored the penalty, I guess. But Mansfield did essentially what we do. And they just did do all the basics, keep all the basics, do the boring jobs, but do them well. And when you get your chances, take them. And they did. And Mansfield seemed set for another successful season. Do you know what? Experienced managers, Stu, that's another element to this, I think. Managers that know this division are going to do well in it, I feel.
It's interesting because EFL shows seem to think just because Jack Wilshere played for the Premier League, they're doing an extended feature on it, which made me laugh. The conversations I had, right, is that he looked like a schoolboy amongst grown men. I'm not saying that you can't, if you're a manager, you have to be 6 foot, but he didn't look like, to me, I don't know, Luton I look at a side of aggressive people, forwards, that sort of side of it. Mick Harford was playing for them. It gives you a bit of an idea of it. And then he said about, I've learned, I think we've got to learn about, what League One's all about. And I was sitting there thinking, well, that comes from you as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And it just struck me. It doesn't strike me as a good, like I saw you got a decent reception from what I see. You didn't get, what was it like at the end? I think there was a few boos, but I don't think that was for him. I think that's just for generally the team, wasn't it?
No, I think there was a realization with a lot of the Luton fans that the squad they've assembled there is not good enough. So the players got it. The players got the grief, except for Jordan Clark, who is an outstanding player.
It's not a bad squad. Like if you looked at it, I know football's not played on paper, but it's not a bad squad.
It's not a bad squad, but it's lopsided. They don't have any fullbacks.
Which is where their strength used to be with attacking fullbacks, was the strength of Luton many years.
Yeah, and Doughty going to Millwall in the end as well has really screwed them, I think. So that's where, they've still got a few injuries. They signed Al Hamadi, and he's still not fit. He's still not able to get involved. So, I mean, they've got issues. They have got issues.
Yeah, it's a weird one, Luton, isn't it? It's I'd love to say I don't think it's the right fit. I've watched them a few times, and the thing is that the best they played was probably when they beat us 1-0 start of the season. We all thought a 1-0 defeat wasn't the worst thing in the world, and now you're sitting there thinking, because should have got a draw there easy.
Yeah, exactly. How things change. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. They're away at Northampton.
Cobblers.
No, it's true. on Saturday. So see how they get on, see if their approach changes somewhat. They do have, of course, they still have good players. But yeah, that was my pick, obviously, of the results last week because I was there and that was my feedback on that one. And I agree with you. They've got Chris Powell as the assistant manager. I don't see why you just don't put Chris Powell in charge on his own, to be honest with you. But maybe he doesn't want it. But whatever. Any other results?
I just think Luton got caught up in their Premier League. I think they just believed that they are a Premier League team, or they just need to get back to what they did the best.
Yeah, Luton have always historically been a lower league side. They have been like third tier, odd second tier times, but otherwise, bounce between the two.
Score wise, Peterborough beating Burton. I watched that. It wasn't a great game, to be fair, but they needed that. Obviously, Lincoln beating Steamers as well. But it wasn't really much. Obviously, Luton losing at home to Mansfield, but that's not as a big a shock as it would have been a month ago.
Yeah. There we are. That is the state of play in third tier. We will talk more about Burton shortly. The only other thing I wanted to mention to you this week was FA Cup tickets have gone on sale, and they are £15 for adults and a quid a kid. So I think that's
a quid with a kid. Bring a kid along, you can get a quid.
Sell your child for £1. So yeah, but I think that's fine. I don't know what to expect attendance wise, to be honest with you, but I think that's pretty good.
I reckon we're probably 4,000 or 5,000. I reckon with that pricing. Hey, look, Plough Lane's a difficult place to get into at the moment, isn't it? So and a home draw against a team lower ranked. That's all you want.
Right, shall we have a crack at Richard Osman Foyer's House of Games?
Yes.
I'm not sure how this is going to work. It's been a busy week, Stu. It's been a very busy week. So I've cobbled this one together at the last moment, to be honest with you. I've done a version of a game called Highbrow, Lowbrow. I'm going to give you a clue. You can guess the answer. If you're correct, you get 2 points. And then I'll give you the second clue. And if you want to change your answer, and it's right, then you get 1 point. But if your original answer was correct, you get the 2 points. Right?
Happy days.
Okay. All right, let's just do a test. So the first one of these is the first clue is which. So these are all famous Wimbledon matches from the past.
Lovely.
You have to guess which match, who the opponent was, and what the score was. All right. So the first one, a single goal win with a penalty saved.
Oh, Wimbledon against Liverpool in an 88 Cup final.
Okay, so if that's correct, you get 2 points.
Yes.
So we'll listen to the second clue and then see if you want to change your answer after the second clue. All right?
Okay.
The second clue is the player who had their penalty saved would go on that evening to be awarded the Young Sports Personality of the Year.
Oh, crikey. Well, I would change my answer, but I don't know what to. I don't know.
It's not a million miles away from your original answer.
Yeah, young player. No, that's not a good start, is it?
See, this is the beauty of this game, I feel. But yes, it was Wimbledon 1, Liverpool 0, but it was 1998, and it was Michael Owen.
Mr. Owen.
Yes. Penalty saved by Neil Sullivan. It was an awful penalty.
It wasn't good.
No. But hey, this is how this game works now, you
Cool.
see. All right, second one. This was an 8-goal game featuring 4 different scorers.
An 8-goal game with 4 different. This is going to be a good quiz, isn't it? And for those of you, just to clarify, I will not be going to the Wheel Wimbledon Fun quiz night, as you can tell. No, I don't know.
No. Okay, that's right, because then you can see if you can get it on the second clue. It's fine.
Yes.
Peter Fear scored his one and only brace in this game. An opposition striker scored 4 times.
Was it when we lost to Tottenham 5-3?
Nearly.
Gary Lineker's 6-2? No, is it 16?
Yeah.
No, Gary Lineker scored the 4.
Not Gary Lineker.
Mr. Klinsmann.
There we go. That's it. 1998. Final home game of the season, And Peter Fear had put us 2-1 up with 2 goals in 10 minutes, but then Spurs went on to win 6-2, 4 goals from Jurgen Klinsmann. Ben Thatcher, an unlikely name to be the player sent off for us that day.
Never.
I think it must have been his only red card in his career.
To say it must be his own tackle, but that'd be a lie.
Well, I can't remember what he was sent off for, but David Ginola was playing for Spurs that day, so I imagine it's something to do with that.
Yes.
Right. Next one, a 7-goal game that seemed lost before a crazy turnaround.
Well, that's the easy one. That's the 4-3 win at Upton Park.
Okay. Second clue then to guarantee or to confirm your answer.
Yeah.
A player called Jake Nicholson ensured that win was pointless.
Oh.
You see what I see?
Jake Nicholson played for Exeter from memory.
Yeah, he also played. Who else did he play for?
Another team.
Give you a clue. Give you a clue that this whole podcast exists because of this team.
Oh, them.
No.
Not them.
No.
Oh, Watford.
No.
Luton.
No. Who did Jake Nicholson play for?
Did he play for us?
Yes.
Oh, I thought. Oh, see, this is not going to be going well, is it? You've had a busy week. I think I've had a terrible week. Well, I remember who he was.
There we go.
I wonder if Ray Armfield's got him on his Whopper thing. If he's got him about like I have.
I'm not sure if he'd have been eligible for.
Was it a Cheltenham game?
Well, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Well, and again, the score you got correct, I think. So go on. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 4-3 at home to Cheltenham. We were 2-0 down. We turned it round second half and won 4-3.
Was it a Spurs loanee? Was that?
Yeah, I think it was Spurs. Yeah.
That's why I forgot about him.
Yeah, there you go. And he was, that was the game that he was ineligible for, and he scored in it. And therefore, those 3 points were deducted.
Ah, yes, that season.
Yes. Right, 2 more. We scored 2 headers to upset the champions-elect.
2 headers, the champions-elect.
This is quite a famous victory with 2-headed goals.
No, I need a second clue.
Okay, the second clue is there are some things money can't buy.
Whoa. Oh, Mr. Kedwell.
There we go. What was the game?
2-0 live on Setanta Sports. It was.
Was it Setanta Sports or was it Premier Sports by that point?
Oh.
I don't know.
Possibly, but it's definitely live on some channel.
It was live on TV, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we beat Crawley Town.
Happy days.
Yeah.
When they were good. When they were good.
Yeah, thankfully they seem to be on their way back into obscurity where they belong.
Shame of it.
Yeah, I'm gutted. Okay, we scored 4 goals to upset a team from East London.
It's got to be West Ham. I just said that one already, didn't I? So let's go for the West Ham one again, the 4-3.
Okay, Toby Civic scored the clinching goal.
It could be West Ham still.
There we go.
Was that 4-2, was it? 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2 in the FA Cup.
Bless him. Who doesn't Toby Civic play for Burton now? What a link! As if you knew that.
As if it provided us with a perfect segue into the preview of the Burton game. I mean, if anyone's still listening to us at this point, you wouldn't know this is the same podcast as the first 20 minutes would suggest. Yes, Burton Albion, currently 3rd bottom in the 3rd tier. They asked you, would you believe this, unbeaten away from home since August in the 3rd tier, a stat that I uncovered for the Tuesday update on 9yrspodcast.org. Last time out, you just mentioned it there, they lost 1-0 at home to Peterborough United in a basement battle. Their manager, we said Gary Bowyer, kept them up last season. Toby Civic plays for them. Apparently, the man to watch is Charlie Webster. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
I've been so rude, haven't I? The player to watch. Sorry.
Yeah, attacking midfielder. Most of the stuff goes through him. I looked at Burton and thought they were definitely a team their league position tells you. But yeah, it's something I think we could do well against.
Charlie Webster, was she not in Coronation Street?
Yeah, probably about 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
I don't know when the last time I watched Coronation Street was, to be honest with you. Scoreline prediction, Stu. Personally, I think this has got draw written all over it.
I think this has got a convincing win for us. Okay. I really feel, and this is not me being big time Charlie or since we're doing so well, but I just think the way we're playing at home form, I'm going for a 3-0 win.
Oh, that's bold. Okay. All right. Well, we shall see. And you can, everyone listening can add their predictions to the Ask a Prediction League as well to see how badly I am doing this year. It's because I'm a pessimist. I am naturally a pessimist, Stu, so I expect the worst. That's why. Anyway, elsewhere in League One, actually, set of fixtures this weekend don't look too bad. I think there's a few interesting games. I've picked out Stevenage versus Bradford as a top of the table clash, but I think there are a few other interesting ones as well.
Yeah, Bolton Cardiff looks decent. To be fair, I didn't really look for it, and obviously Stevenage Bradford. Yeah, there's a few better than the week before, wasn't it? But it's all about us, all about what we do.
This is true. Stevenage versus Bradford, I mean, it is, but do you know what? It just reminds me about some of the places that the bottom two divisions encompass really are some of the worst places in the country to go and visit. You know that. Jeez.
It's teams like Bradford, Stevenage. It's now seeing, and us. It's now seeing whether we can continue our form, isn't it? It's getting to that part of the season, but like I say, we're 13 games in now, so yeah, form. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. We're just home form's good. Let's enjoy it.
Got to mention Mansfield last week featured Adedeji Oshilaja.
Yes,
and in one of those really is this happening moments for me, Ryan Sweeney, I forgot, now plays there as well.
Deji was great for us, wasn't it? And obviously was a centre of our rejected transfer bid.
Yes,
if you remember properly.
Yes.
But Deji was great. I'm not surprised he's still doing well in League One. Must be about 48 now, mustn't he? He must be proper old now.
Yeah, he must be getting something like that. Yeah,
must be due a testimonial or something somewhere.
Mansfield, of course, played in yellow because there was no need to change. So applause to Mansfield. Well done. Anyway, updates from the fixture with the fixture. Gosh, that sounds posh, doesn't it? Updates from the game with Burton will be available on Nazi Twitter at 9YRS Podcast. Other than that, Stu, is there anything you want to add?
No. Just I'm watching a West Ham and Leeds game, and West Ham are still terrible. It's great fun.
And what's the score?
2-0 to Leeds.
How long?
And they're just deciding a VAR goal now for West Ham, which is taking about 3 minutes to see whether they can get the lines on for offside. Do you love VAR?
Yeah, by the time I've edited this and uploaded it, they might still be trying to figure out whether that goal should.
He's offside by a foot. I don't know what size foot he is, but he's offside by maybe a size 8 foot.
Bin it off, I say. Get rid of VAR.
Get smaller feet.
Or just get smaller feet. I'm sure you can get anything done these days, actually, on the NHS, so you could try it. Right. Well, anyway, that's it. Thank you, Stu, for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Alexa Bliss, bag first milk last 2 + 2 = 4. And we shall speak to you again next week.